This is Joe's Long Slim Cayenne, and believe it or not, this is a small one.
That's what she said.
Welcome back to Taste the Pain. My name is Boss, and today I am looking at Joe's Long Slim Cayenne pepper. I'm growing this pepper in my garden for the first time this year, but I'm really excited about it. These are the first few ripe fruit that I've got off this plant, so they're pretty early. I expect now that we're getting out of the heat of July, that plant is really gonna take off. It grew to about 18 inches tall when it started putting on these fruit, and they grew fast. They stayed green for a while, and you can see this one actually is still ripening, but I pulled it because it has a really nice burgundy brown color that it gets while it's ripening. I thought that was really nice. All of these fruits did it, and then it ripens to this beautiful bright red. These are all about 6 to 8 inches long, depending on how you measure, and about a half an inch across. They get bigger than this, though. I've looked online and seen a lot of people have these like 12 plus inches long and almost 3/4 of an inch around at the top, and then tapering down to a nice point. You get some different shapes. Some of them are curlicue, some of them are longer and straighter like this, and some of them are somewhere in between. A lot of good different shapes on Joe's Long Slim Cayenne. I am told it is a very productive pepper, and I can tell you my plant is already putting on a bunch more fruit while it's also starting to grow taller, so I'm excited to take a look at it at the end of the season. So Joe's Long Slim Cayenne pepper, where did it come from? It's actually originally from Italy, Calabria, I don't know, I'm not Italian, I don't know how to say it. But Calabria, well, that's what we're gonna go with. Italy is where this pepper originated. It made its way over to Toronto and kind of circulated amongst the seed swappers communities there. And then eventually it made it to Troy, New York, to a guy, you'll never guess his name. Joe. Joe Sestito, if I remember right. So Joe had this pepper for a while, and then in 1996, it was formally introduced to the Seed Savers Exchange by the famous Dr. Carolyn, who is a prolific member of that community. It's said to be one of the better tasting cayennes. It is very productive, and it's just fun to grow because you get some big peppers, and like I said, these are the small ones. I expect later season, my harvest is gonna have some real monsters. One thing that's nice about Joe's Long Slim Cayenne pepper is that instead of being really flimsy, like a lot of other really long, thin peppers are, thinking like Thunder Mountain Longhorn, that pepper tends to get really dried out because it's pretty thin and hollow. This actually has some good firmness to it, so I'm really excited to see, does it stay crunchy? Is it a meatier pepper than the typical cayenne? Am I gonna really enjoy this? Is it just gonna become a powder pepper? Let's find out. Let's see if we can get, it's gonna be a really tough one to chop one-handed because of that curve. But let's see, how'd I do? Oh, not bad. So very typical inside for a long, thin pepper like this. It is a capsicum annuum, and so you can see not a ton of membrane, very long, thin membrane down the middle. Honestly, less seeds than I was kind of expecting, but it smells good. It smells really fresh. Almost smells a little bit like fruity, like cherry kind of berry fruity. Joe's Long Slim Cayenne. It's time to taste the pain. Not bad. Right off the bat, it's gonna be a shock. It tastes like a cayenne pepper. It doesn't have any standout like, oh, that's really fruity, or really sweet. It's really kind of that standard red ripe cayenne flavor. If you don't know what that's like, imagine a jalapeno, but a little bit smoother, a little bit flatter, kind of mixed with a little bit of the bitter sharpness from like a Serrano. Flavor notes though, not a lot happening, to be completely honest. It's juicy, it's crunchy, but it's very mild in flavor. Heat-wise, I would call it maybe, it's probably 3 to 4 times hotter than a jalapeno heat-wise. It's kind of a sharp, tingling burn on my tongue and on my cheek. I don't really notice it much when I swallow. A little tiny bit at the top of my throat there, but very, very manageable heat. It's not gonna send anybody crying unless you really can't handle spice. It is building a little bit still, so we'll wait and see after. I'm gonna eat the rest of that, make sure I get up the top by the placenta just to get the hottest part and talk with my mouth full, because that's what I do on Taste the Pain. I'm rude. So now that I've eaten the whole thing, there is a little bit more sweetness that started to kind of creep up as I got up towards the stem end of the pepper, but it's really not much. I gotta say, flavor-wise, it's a little underwhelming for me. Not bad, not offensive. It doesn't have any gross flavors. It's not like really bitter or really floral or off-putting. It's just not that special. I was really kind of hoping this would be super tasty, like maybe an extra sweet cayenne kind of flavor, but I'm not getting it so far. Heat-wise, I'll say again, yeah, it's probably 3 to 4 times hotter than a jalapeno, maybe 20,000 Scoville heat units as an absolute total guesstimate. But it is staying pretty concentrated on my tongue. The back of my tongue does have a little bit unpleasant, sharp burn. Most capsicum annuum peppers, in my opinion, have a sharper, more tingly pins and needles type burn. That's my least favorite type of pepper burn. I prefer a flatter, kind of more like warming until scorching kind of heat that's broad and doesn't feel quite so much like individual pinpricks. Luckily, like I said, it's not super hot, so it's pretty easy to manage, even though it's early season and I have pretty much no heat tolerance right now. I will say, crunchiness is nice. I do like that. The texture is really nice. I have no complaints about that pepper. I also just don't have anything that's like wowing me. So, not bad. So what's the final verdict on Joe's Long Slim Cayenne pepper? Well, for heat, I'm gonna give this about a 2.5 out of 10. It's hotter than a jalapeno, but not by a ton, and it doesn't send you like screaming for milk. In terms of flavor, again, it was really kind of unimpressive, wasn't offensive, but it just didn't stand out as like, that's a delicious pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5. And so garden worthiness, I'm also gonna give this a 5. Might update that at the end of the season if it really turns out to be a cool looking plant with huge peppers, but for now, that's the total score. I appreciate you watching this. I have a ton of pepper reviews coming this year, over 180 pepper varieties in my garden. I don't know if I'll make a video for each and every one of them, but all of the ones that are new to me, I'm gonna try and at least capture my taste testing notes, but I'll do videos of as many as I can, so hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and remember, plants help us grow. Yeah.